Good morning all, this is Stephen Rowlands. With today's coffee time, I'm trying to turn this into a weekly thing as people seem to request it. This is all about spiritual chat and questions and answers. I just feel that with everybody turning out messages all of the time, we don't get time to get together and really talk spiritually as spiritualists. And as I've been a practicing medium for nearly 40 years next year, I try to answer any spiritual questions that people may have, okay, to do with spirit, what happens after physical death, the realms of spirit, mediumship, the development of mediumship, anything like that. So please come on board. I've had a quiet. What I mean by spiritual questions, I don't mean, when am I going to sell my house, or, will I get a pay rise, or will my boyfriend come back, or anything like that. I'm talking about life questions such as, what happens in eternity, what's the progression of the soul. Hello Charlie, Mark, Quick, Barnard, lovely to see you here. I think this is your first time here. Welcome. I was just explaining that I do this weekly, Charlie, and it's just so that we spiritualists can get together and just talk about spiritual things. And I try to answer any questions that may come up from people. I was just saying, I'm not here to open up mediumistically, but what I'm here to do is to answer questions. That's lovely, Charlie. I use a cabinet for trance. What a cabinet does is it holds all the power the spirit bring forward for the trance to take place. Okay, and it's sort of like it's where spirit can focus their power for the trance and anything they want to do, anything that they want to show people, such as transfiguration. Hi Eva, such as transfiguration or different phenomena. Hello Emily. I'm feeling better, thank you. And you don't have to use a spirit box or a cabinet. I've not used one, but when I do trance now, I use a cabinet. And my cabinet is a privacy tent, actually. You can put it up anywhere. It's one that you can take to the beach and change into your costume. But it does the same job as a purpose-built cabinet. And it's just there to hold the power and the energy of spirit, so that spirit can be seen or different phenomena can take place. I hope that answers your question, Charlie. But you don't have to use a cabinet. Okay, it's just that I'm one of those that prefers to do so. I also prefer to use red light. I am currently going to be experimenting in blue light. Okay, hi Lorraine. Because from what I've heard around, people are getting amazing things happen in blue light. More can be seen apparently. So I'm doing a trance live December the 10th for this group, I believe. So hopefully I'll be able to get the blue light set up. I've had trouble finding suitable blue light, but anyway. Oh, hi Sarah. There's a few new faces popping up. It's lovely to see you, ladies. Like I say, if you have any questions about anything about working with spirit, communicating with spirit, what happens in the realms of spirit, our reason for being, or anything like that, please ask. I've had a quiet week this week, really, which has been good. I demonstrated mediumship last Sunday at Woking, and I've done a Zoom service for the Circle of Light Thursday night. And yeah, it's been nice. Apart from my normal material work, uh, it's just been nice to have that little break. I think it's very important that we who serve spirit or channel spirit in whichever way we channel spirit um, have time to rest and recharge. I think that's very, very important. Eva, I saw you were over in the UK last week. If you come over again, you're welcome in Winchester to come along and say hi. Right, if you wish to. Oh yeah. So you're an American lady, are you? Are you from America or are you UK? Um, yeah, I love serving the centre of the open heart. Um, it must be. I must have been doing a demonstration of mediumship that night that you met me. Oh, you're UK. Well, you're always welcome, Charlie. Okay. Uh, yeah, I must have been that night. I must have been doing a demonstration of mediumship because um, I do trance on Facebook Live because I find it safer. I've done a couple of trances by Zoom, and on each occasion there was somebody who decided to make a noise and brought me back to earth with a bump, and it took me a week to recover. And why have people got to be so nasty? You know what I mean? But yeah, but having said that, oh, brilliant. Right, if you need meeting and picking up anywhere, let me know, Eva. All right. Um, might do a transfer when you come. Working on medication. I can only talk from my own experience, but I think working on meditation is the same as working with alcohol. You shouldn't work with alcohol, all right? But there again, Sarah, when I got diagnosed with diabetes 2 in 2016, I was put on metformin, which makes you go to the toilet a lot, and I was still serving. Um, at the moment, I'm on blood pressure tablets and another tablet for a mature gentleman's problem, but I seem to be able to working fine. I think it's sort of like, I think it would depend, Sarah, on the type of medication you're on. If it makes you drowsy or anything like that, or makes you feel not yourself, I wouldn't advise not working spirit. I would advise not to work spiritually. Okay, I think that's the most sensible answer I can offer at this time, Sarah. Okay. I would say if you're on antidepressants, you shouldn't be working. Pain relief's fine, Sarah. Okay, because recently I pulled a muscle in me back and it was blooming painful. So I was taking paracetamol and ibuprofen together to ease the pain, and I worked fine. But anything, if you're on antidepressants or anything like that, or anything that makes you drowsy or make you feel a little bit drunk, I would suggest not to. But if you're on strong painkillers like tramadol or something like that, I would suggest not to work. But that's just my own opinion. All right. But if if you're just on normal like paracetamol or ibuprofen or cocodamol or whatever, that should be fine. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Hello, Jody. How you doing? Lovely to see you here. You know, and would you like to see more spirituality in churches? It's good to question, Sarah. always keep questioning, because one of the things that the beautiful lie, the beautiful spirit guide Lee told us was to always question and to always keep an open mind. So please question, no matter what it is. All right. I did my understanding workshop. I'm sorry, understanding mediumship workshop for a couple of ladies last week, and I said to them, always question, even if it sounds stupid. Always question, because that question will always need answering, doesn't it? And don't be worried about um, looking stupid by asking a question. You know what I mean. That question needs to be answered to sort of like help you stay on the right path, if you know what I mean. And always keep an open mind. That's what the Spirit Guide Lee says. Um, because what you don't believe one day, I think I need to send you some healing, don't I, Jody? You need to learn how to close down. All right. I'll teach how to close down. Would you like to come on my understanding mediumship workshop, Jody? Or I will take the time and I will teach you to close down. And to protect yourself. With manic episode, do you mean your mental health, or do you mean with the unwanted spirit? Opening and closing the spirit is so very important. I find myself sort of like teaching, yeah. Okay. Would you like the workshop, or would you like me to book you in and you can come on Facebook video messenger and I'll do a closing down exercise with you, or you can do the full workshop if you wish. But the full workshop's 20 quid. All right. But it teaches you, about spiritual protection, opening and closing, how to connect with your spirit guides, and just an understanding of how spirit work, how spirit connect to you. You're very welcome, Sarah. I love chatting to people, and I don't think we mediums do it often enough. So, if you've got any questions, don't wait for me to pop up live. Okay, losing a friend is very, very hard, Jody. All right, it is for anybody. Okay, but I think I need to spend some time with you to teach you the opening and closing, especially the closing side of things. Okay, and how to protect yourself mentally. Okay, I'm very sorry for your loss, Jody. All right, if you'd like that, just let me know, and I'll get you booked in for an appointment with me. All right. But yeah, Sarah, please come along, because that was a good question to ask. And anytime I'm doing these lives, or if you've got a question, just drop me an inbox. I'll do my best to answer it. Or if I can't answer it, I'll put you in touch with people who I think can. Right. I'll have a look in my diary, Jody, and I'll message you. We'll do it on video messenger, all right? So I do like to talk to people face to face, you know what I mean? Right. I'm just reading Lorraine Clark's comment. I definitely think meditation should be taught in schools. Not for connection, but to spirit, because I think that could be harmful. Okay? If we're teaching them how to open and close the spirit and how to connect with spirit at a young age, I think that could be harmful. But I mean, I was very aware of spirit right from my earliest memories. I think for children like me, I mean, some sort of basic understanding would be good. Okay, but I think meditation and what comes from that meditation about being peaceful, loving, and mindful could be very helpful in schools, and I do agree. I think some schools have adopted it from what I've seen on the news, Lorraine. You know, so you know, I think if we can teach children love and and kindness and compassion and forgiveness and everything like that, empathy, that's all to do with love. So I think if we can be teaching that to kids as well as maths and science and English and geography and woodwork or whatever, I think I agree with you. I think it may teaching meditation may help with mental health problems later in life. When I was a homeless recovery worker, we done a course called trauma informed care. Basically, a lot of people suffer trauma in their childhoods. Okay, and that reflects out as they're growing up and into their adult life. And because of that trauma that they had years ago, they can't, they sort of drop out of society in one way or another. Um, so it's about understanding the trauma. I think if we can teach meditation as well, um, it can help children, especially if they're having a traumatic time, help to keep their heads above water. I hope you agree with that. And it's good actually because I'm not doing all the talking. So I'd love to hear from you all. So please, please, please say what you think, what you feel, what you want to ask, anything like that. Okay? I think there should be more spirituality in churches, and centres, because a couple of centres I've actually, I've sort of like had to make the point that I will do an opening and closing prayer. But they don't want that because for that minute you're doing an opening prayer, it's less time for messages, which I think is ridiculous. When you open, hello Emma, when you do the opening prayer, you're opening the spirit, you're inviting spirit in, and when you're doing the closing prayer, you're thanking spirit for being with you. Okay, so you wouldn't go in somebody's house unless you're invited in. It's the same for spirit. I actually have done a couple of platforms where they've shortened the song so that there's more time for messages. But the songs or hymns or whatever, the energy of that raise the energy, don't they? So it's all helping to create the conditions for spirit to come along and communicate. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that. If you have, it would be great. Would you like to see prayers and hymns or songs in a service, or would you not? Or do you think that they're not good because you could save time and have more messages? Let me know what you think, guys and girls. I agree. That I think we got to start from the foundation, haven't we? But say from 5 years old up, just do simple little meditations. Oh, hiya, Sue Riggs, Kent. My thoughts on psychic surgery. I'm going to have a little think about that. Hymns raise the energy, Christina. All songs. Thank you, Emily. Right. Let's get back to Sue Riggs, Kent. I am a trance healer, Sue Riggs, and people have started calling it psychic surgery. I remember years ago, back in the sort of late 70s, I was reading the psychic news, and there was these there was these two Brazilian healers, and they used to actually through, through the energy of spirit, used to put their fingers inside the body and operate, which is very invasive if you think about it. But some of the people that I've channeled healing to have called it psychic surgery because not only is the pain gone, but whatever was wrong with him physically has uplifted. So if you think about it, Sue, spirit are channeling energy through to create change. Change. Whether they sort of like help to heal a break or whatever medical condition you can think of. I remember once years ago, this old lady come round to me for some healing, and she had a very swollen right knee. Anyway, channeled the healing from spirit to her, from the healing guides to her, and when I come back, the healing, the swelling had gone down by a hell of a lot. So if you think about it, spirit are using energy or the vibration of that energy to create physical change, and that to me is psychic surgery, and I think it works. But it, as always, so it depends on the practitioner, doesn't it? If that practitioner actually wants to create change and wants to help people, the more powerful, and is working with integrity, the more powerful and the more helpful that healing will be. And I hope that answers your question, Sue. I was going to say something then, but it's completely gone out of my mind. Okay. But also, it is a spirit teaching that we receive according to the need for our soul progression. So sometimes we're meant to suffer that pain or that injury, but healing can help uplift that suffering in one form or another. Okay. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily psychic, because psychic is sort of like an energy that allows communication to take place. It can also be used to help the flow of healing. Okay. But I do know from my own experience, when my guides channel the healing through me, it has created physical change within the person. I'm not saying all of the time, because it depends on the need, the universal, the eternal need, or how receptive the person is. There's lots of factors, Sue, you know what I mean? Alright? Right, okay, let's have a look what Lorraine's saying. And I hope I'm not boring anybody. Right, Lorraine Clark, I think. Yeah, I agree, because all we churn out is messages. When I first started, back in the late 70s, we used to give diagnosis. They'd tell us, spirit had come along, and it's actually what, it was through spirit giving me diagnosis that the mediumship side of it developed. But spirit do give advice, all right. But I did hear someone that well, I think is common. It's a common thing now that we're not allowed to give diagnosis. As I said, it's down to the integrity of the practitioner. But I will try and give advice what I get from spirit, within the remit of not giving diagnosis. If that makes sense, Sue. Alright, but I will say spirit said so and so, because this will help ease your pain, this will do this, you know, or get some more exercise, whatever it is. Hello, Giggles, the lovely Victoria with us. I'm going to knock that poster up tomorrow. Thank you for your lovely photograph. It's a lovely Chantel Warren's come to join us. She was with me last week for the Understanding Mediumship workshop. As I said, there's some really good questions this morning, so I'm a happy medium bunny, for want of a better way of putting it. Okay, but I think there should be space for spirituality within churches. I'm all right. I picked up my new motor today, Giggles. I'm well happy. The boy's got his new toy. You know what I mean? I'm based near Winchester, David. I will travel for services. You know, funnily enough, me and the wife are on holiday in York and Harrogate. Well, I've driven it backwards and forwards a bit this morning, but yeah, it's a lovely drive. I do travel. I will go any distance as long as my expenses are paid. Okay, because that's how we did it in the old days. If I have to like travel 400 miles, what I'll do to cover the expenses is I'll give private readings. That covers me fuel or any overnight stops or anything like that. Okay, but I'm based in Winchester. There you go. I was putting myself out there as a platform medium. Sorry, you probably didn't want to know that, did you, David? But anyway. Oh, well, I'm doing it now, Chantel. So if you've got any questions, please fire them away. There's been some very good questions this morning, and I really hope that continues. I was talking to the president of Woking, and I know we've discussed this before, folks, but she was saying about mediums not being able to give addresses and things like that. And, you know, I think that's sad because it's always being put down on the messages. If you're constantly bringing people's loved ones forward, explain to me what a pranic healer is, please, David, because I don't know. I'm a trance healer, by the way. But lovely, thank you for joining us today, David. But I don't know what a pranic healer is, so if you could explain to me, that'd be great. And for everybody else as well. But I think connections with spirit guides is good because they can give some great philosophy to people. They can also help you with your ups and downs. They also bring our loved ones through. Okay. Somebody said to me quite some time ago, well, we've all got spirit guides, you don't need to mention them. I said, well, we've all got grandparents. Yeah, things are different these days. Hey, hello, Hazel. I was hoping you would pop up. All right. I don't find most people know my thoughts on Reiki, but it's all healing at the end of the day of it. But I don't think Reiki's that powerful. Um, yeah, we all use energy. It's all from the one source, and yeah, it's lovely. I think with philosophy, um, what I say to people is the address is the message for all. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, I don't know what the address is going to be until I've heard the reading. But a lot of churches want the mediums to give the reading now. So me being me, I'll read one of my poems out, but and give an address on that. But or it could be something that somebody said while I'm there, or something that's I've seen on the telly, and my guides have come in and given me some teaching on it, or whatever. But yeah. Yeah. So as right. I demonstrate transfiguration, Sue. Like I said, I'm doing a transfiguration trance demo for this group 10th of December, so please tune in and watch. Okay, so you'll be able to see transfiguration. Transfiguration is the first part of trance, really. Um, and you're probably already aware of this, Sue, but spirit form an ectoplasmic screen over the medium or the healer's face and imprint their likeness on that ectoplasmic screen. Okay, alright. But trance healing is powerful and you can class it as psychic surgery, probably the same as David's pranic healing or whatever. But it's all there. Like I keep saying, whatever you do for spirit, it's all there to create upliftment. Proving survival is a part of it, but it's not the be all and end all. Alright? Okay, that's just my thoughts. After 39 years of demonstrating mediumship, I've got the right to my opinion. Okay. As the great God Lee said to me, or said to the group that I was with, you know, once you've had your here, I'm going to put my phone number and email in the comments, David, for you. I advertise. These are not private. What's the names? These are not private because I've got these details all over the web. But hang on. My guides protect me, Lorraine. I've seen and experienced negative things coming through other people. It's all in the book, by the way. And my guides have removed that negative energy. There you go, David. There's my contact. There's my contact details. It's lovely, isn't it, Chantel? Your guides will protect you, but what I will say years ago is my guides had to learn how to protect me, or that they were basically told to get off their butts and protect me. Okay, because they were being very, very lazy. Okay, but your guides should always protect you. But there again, you know, those negative experience things I experienced were before I went into full on, before I started with Berenice's circle, and she put me right. She put me spirit guides right, and I've been teaching spiritual protection ever since. Okay, what's that community standard things? Right. Okay. But for anybody who is sitting for spiritual development, learn how to close to spirit, learn how to open. Have a good day, Chantel. Have a good one, mate. Well, you need to Sue. You need to know how sort of spirit blend with you, how they form. There's lots on the web where you can read about transfiguration, anything like that. But what I would say to you is, I would, if I was you, I would develop trance. I would connect with your guides, learn how they connect with you, um, speak to them, alright? And it's very refreshing for me to actually to find somebody or find people that wants to know more, okay? But, you know, there's lots on the web about transfiguration, alright? It's just something that I've always been able to do, you know, and as I was saying the other week, you know, I can do it, but teaching it I have difficulty with. But I've been learning how to teach it for a good few years now. But so forming a good relationship with your spirit guides and learning how they work through you and how you can become the best possible channel for them. All right. Basically, for trance healing or bringing forward guides or loved ones, you need to have a light meal. Your stomach doesn't need to be full. I would suggest you do a meditation first off. And as I said, you have to create the conditions for spirit to work in. So whatever the area is, you know, wherever you're going to be doing trance, make sure it's filled with love. All right. And because spirit work on a loving vibration, so of unconditional love. Coming to this earth is like jumping into a big dustbin bin. Does that make sense? For spirit. So we have to create the right energies for spirit to be able to work in. Also, we use music to raise the energy as well. That's all going to be coming in circle. It's just something that naturally happens, Hazel. It's not like you have to take a degree in it. It's a part of trance. As spirit are blending into your aura, transfiguration naturally takes place. But even on a light level, I mean, over the years giving messages, I've seen people's mums, dads, uncles, cousins, whatever, transfigure over the person I'm giving the message to face. You know what I mean? So I've said, well, it's so he or she's just transfigured over you, and you can create a connection with that spirit communicator, and you can give them the message. Also, people are asking me to create more workshops, so I'm going to be creating one on self-love, opening the heart, stuff like that. What have I told you, Hazel? With that kind of thing, don't do it on your own, and do it with somebody who's knowledgeable that can bring you back. All right? Especially with trance, I'm all for safety. All right? Because when you open the spirit, you're opening yourself to all and sundry. All right? I don't like putting people on a naughty step, Hazel, but you came close there. All right? But what was I going to say? Yeah. I could talk about opening and closing, but set it up for people. I could do it as a mini workshop and I won't charge you for it. How's that? Alright? I need to get that out to everybody. Have a beautiful afternoon, Eva. Blessings to you, young lady. Yeah, we'll have to discuss that, David, because I've never not heard of that before. Alright? make sure you're protected. But it's my best advice that you do it with somebody, because if you can't get back, that you've got somebody with you who knows how to bring you back. All right. Because it's not very nice when it goes wrong. I don't want to frighten people or anything like that, but you know. Well, Lorraine, I just want to get this about that knowledge of opening and closing. I always teach people how to close the spirit first, then I'll teach them how to open. But if you can get, say, a group of, I don't know, 10 people, and I'll do it as a group thing. All right? And we could do it in a Facebook room or Zoom even. All right? Because people need to be talking back to me. So, you know, if it's alive, I've just got to wait for people to type comments, haven't I? But, you know, it's sort of like my passion to get the teachings of spiritual protection out there. I've done a video on YouTube about spiritual. I did a live, and I was talking about spiritual protection. I could send you that if you would like, Lorraine. It's just me talking about it. Some are agreeing with me, some are disagreeing with me, please. Emma, that'll be on the Signs of the Afterlife group when it comes up, and I'll get booked for it. Okay. Or you can join my workshop. That's 20 quid, but spiritual protection is covered in it. Okay. I sound like Del Boy now, but yeah. Yeah. Well, you see, like I said, I'll be 40 years next year. I'll be demonstrating mediumship, and next year I would have been a spiritualist 45 years. So I'm sort of quite old school, aren't I? Hi, Janice, and hope you're feeling better. And so I'm doing the I teach very old school to people because it's what I know. And there's no quick route to mediumship. Like I say, I've been demonstrating all these years, and I'm still learning how to do it. Okay, all right, I will do. I'll send you the poster, Emma. I'll just write. Basically, what we cover with my workshop is spiritual protection, closing and opening the spirit, being selfless in service, channeling energy, meditation, meet your spirit guides, attune to spirit, and spirit inspired. That's where I get the students to give an inspired address from their spirit guides. Okay. Lovely, Joe. I'm loving this morning, or this afternoon even. I'll have to get off by our past because the wife will be back and I've got to make her a sandwich. Any questions, please? But I think it's as part of spiritual protection. I think there's quite a few people I met. They stay open all the time. I think that's very, very dangerous, mentally and physically. Okay, because if you're communicating to whatever level of spirit all day long, you know, it can be dangerous. No, it's not personal. I've told you, I've answered this question a few times, Ryan. Shit. The reason, but me and Veronica met on Match.com, believe it or not, because the ladies weren't exactly throwing themselves at my feet at the time. So I thought I'd come to the stage where I needed to have a partner in life. You know, I've been single for 8 years, and I thought it'd be nice to have a little lady in my life. So I went on, and as I said, the ladies weren't exactly throwing themselves at me, so I went on Match.com. Blessings to you, David. All right. So I went on Match.com and I was on it for about a year. And the ladies on there, they always seemed they always seemed, like they wanted somebody very rich, or they just had too much baggage. So I'd been on it for about a year, and I was just about to hit the delete button, delete my profile, and I saw that I'd got a wink. So I looked at the wink, and it was from Veronica, and so I thought, oh, she looks all right. I'll just say hi, expecting her to want a wealthy man, or to have too much baggage. But anyway, we started messaging and she became lovely. But the reason she was attracted to my profile was because I'd put on my profile that I was a spiritualist medium, and she had an interest in it. Okay, her only knowledge or interest at that point was Most Haunted, and we know what an absolute Brahms that it was. All right. Um, Many people know my feelings on ghost hunts and a load of rubbish that comes out on telly, um, with these ghost hunting programs and all the rest of it. Hiya, Shaz. Lovely Shaz from Weymouth. Um, Thank you, Jodie. That I'm very humbled by you saying that. So anyway, eventually we got texting, then we started phoning. Yeah, they are. They're very dangerous and they're stupid as well. All right. Okay, they're dangerous for spirit as well, believe it or not. And we were courting, and I said, I've got a service at Woking. Would you like to come along? And she said yes. So we went along, and we both smoked in, but she was outside having a fag, and I went in the medium's room to meditate, and these two women were talking outside, and she heard what they said. And anyway, I come out on the platform and done, and it was address and messages. So anyway, I got to the messages part, and I came to these two ladies, and all that they had been saying, I was telling them, and from their one of them's father who had just passed 2 weeks before. So then she knew I was the real deal, and but what impressed me about Veronica is Veronica's got such a beautiful heart. It's unbelievable. It just, that loving, compassionate, beautiful heart that she's got. And she would make an amazing healer. And but what Veronica said to me is that she doesn't mind supporting me in what I do. It's like when I'm doing Zooms or this, she'll sit there quietly, and on her Kindle. She misses out on her TV programs when I'm doing online stuff. Um, she used to come with me, but when COVID hit, she stopped coming. But she does support me very much in what I do, okay, as a channel for spirit, okay. She doesn't want to go into it anymore, but every so often I sort of say to her, you'd be an amazing healer, okay. But she doesn't want to go into it any further. She asks me the odd question now and again. Yeah, we'll sit and have a chat. But yeah, so that's how me and Veronica met, and that's the story so far with Veronica. I'm really pleased that we found each other. She's amazing, honestly. Um, I can honestly say she is, as far as the females of the species, she is the best thing that's ever happened to me, because my love life before her was more like War and Peace, if you know what I mean. We won't go into that. All right. Um, but yeah, and she cares for me as well. It's like when I've been doing 3 or 4 demonstrations a week, and I've been working. Yeah, you have to wait. I think we go with the other people to learn lessons from Janice. I didn't meet Veronica till I was 57. Uh, yeah. But we've got a beautiful home. We love each other dearly. And she supports me in all that I do, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? But yeah, she'll tell me when I'm doing too much, and she'll nag me to rest and stuff like that. That's called loving. That's called caring. All right. Any more questions for the last 10 minutes? All right. I've got a. I'm doing a new workshop. I think it's on the 26th of November. All right, and it's the understanding mediumship one. So if anybody would like to sign up for that, that would be great. I'll bump it up so people can see it, and I will send the information to Emma. Any more questions? Anyway, the wife's just walked in from work, so I feel if there are no more questions, I will make us our lunchtime sandwich. Yeah, I'm getting into my new job. It's sort of like it's still I class it still as social healthcare. It's delivering meals to the it's Meals on Wheels for the vulnerable. Yeah, there is a safeguarding aspect to it. So oh, there's been many, Emma. There was one I gave a message from her twin sister who died in the womb. Um, there's been many. I can't think of one in particular. There's another one where I saw this gentleman was showing me chopsticks, and the lady burst into tears. And apparently her dad loved his Chinese food, and he would eat it actually with chopsticks. So they brought him chopsticks with the Chinese writing on, and she placed them in his top pocket when he was laid out in his coffin. That's another one that comes to mind. Okay. But there's been many, because Spirit are amazing, and some of the things that they get me to tell people, I just think, wow. You know what I mean? Right, I'm going to go now because my wife's going to want me and my wife want our sandwich. Anyway, thank you all for joining me this morning, and love to you all. Take care. God bless. Bye bye.